Were you crying when you were shooting him?
I don't remember.
Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
How about when you cut his throat? Were you crying then?
I don't know.
So take a look then. And you're the one that did this, right?
Yes.
And you're the same individual that lied about all this, right?
Yes.
Jodi Arias grilled by the prosecution over her inability to remember details of the brutal murder of her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander. 17 days she's been on the stand, and she's still talking. But are the jurors buying it? Joining me is Harvard University psychiatrist Dr. John Sharp, body language expert Tonya Reiman, and attorney Jeff Gold, who has been in the courtroom. All right, welcome, guys. Tonya, what do you make of the clip that we just played coming into this block where she's crying, covering her face, telling the prosecutor she can't remember?
Yeah, well, first of all, if you look, there's really no crying going on here. I mean, her movements
I can't tell.
match.
She's got her hand
Well, that's the whole thing.
face.
If she were really crying, the tears would be coming down. She wouldn't be pushing into her glasses. She would actually be wiping away her tears. What she's doing here is she's trying to cover up her face so that people can't see what she's really doing. She's hiding.
You think she's that prepped?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Is the jury buying her stuff, Jeff?
You know, for most of that direct testimony, I think they were being suckered into this story that she was used for sex and all. I mean, it was very seductive, but then and for 11 days, she testifies about every detail. And then for 24 minutes, she says she can't remember about what happened on the murder, on the killing. It was unbelievable. There was disappointment in that jury.
All right. Now, doctor, I mean, you haven't examined her, but at the same time, I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist or a Harvard professor to figure out that I don't think that she's crying, and she's somewhat robotic in the way she answers questions.
Right, those are tears, but she's so detached from her emotions, it's actually hard for normal people to relate. You know, we cry, we feel the sadness. She cries, the sadness is far away in a box, put aside. It's not actually how she's feeling in the moment. That's how she operates day to day.
All right, let's take a look at this. Here's another clip of Arias answering a question from her attorney. She says no twice, but is her body saying yes?
Did you have a gun with you?
No.
Did you have a knife with you?
No.
You have a cell phone with you?
Yes.
Now let's look again at that clip in slow motion. All right, something happened. All right, Tonya, she's being questioned by the jurors. Right. Talk to me.
So this is what we see. As she's being questioned, did you have a knife? Did you have a gun? She does a very subtle head nod. As she says no, her head moves up and down. And that's, you know, unconsciously, she's telling us the truth. Her body is telling us the truth. So you know that she's lying. But in addition to that, if you watch, when she's asked about the gun and the knife, her mouth tightens up, her jaw clenches. And then when she's asked about the cell phone, everything is nice, smooth, and relaxed. So you know that there's discomfort. There's a level of discomfort when being asked about the gun and the knife, and that's one of the big red flags here. The nodding of the head with her body telling us yes, and then in addition to that, the clenching of the jaw.
So the involuntary reactions are what Tonya
said. The involuntary reactions are what gives away her true feelings, her true emotions. But she's smart enough to cover her face, Jeff.
Cover her face. She poked herself in the eye to make herself cry. You watch that picture again. She pokes her tear duct.
Is that what we're going to see in slow motion?
You saw her poke. And not only that, but anybody who's denying this would deny it, instead of being meek and mild and saying, no, no, I didn't. It doesn't make any sense when you're listening to it. I would deny it. No.
All right. Now, she says that, and she admitted that she lied twice about how Travis was killed. I mean, you know, there were these guys who came in and et cetera, et cetera.
On tape.
So, on tape, right. So, is there any reason that the jurors should, at this point, believe her in her third reason for his death?
Not unless she could somehow become someone else and be honest and be able to convey how she feels. There's no way that's ever going to happen. That's not her psychological makeup.
All right. So, Jeff, the jury questioned her about her so-called memory issues this week. Let's take a look.
How can you say that you don't have memory issues when you can't remember how you stabbed him so many times and slashed his throat?
Well, I think that I have a good memory, and June 4th is an anomaly for me. it's like I said yesterday, it's in a class of its own, and I can't explain what kind of state of mind I was in.
June 4th, the day she killed him, it's an anomaly to her. How did that hit you, Tonya?
You know what? If you watch her, she's literally smiling. You see a little grin on her face. And we tend to do that, again, unconsciously, without realizing we're doing it, to say, I got away with it. So what she's telling us is, in essence, I got away with it, these little smiles.
Well, she's so separated from the real emotion that she's performing. Yeah. And when she sees herself performing in a way that she likes, she smiles about it. That's what we're actually seeing.
Your question was about the jury. You know what the jury asked her? How do you decide when you're going to tell the truth and when you're not? The jury asked, why should anyone believe you because you've lied about everything? That's from the jury.
Well, yeah,
so
at least one person on the jury. Anyway, panel, stay with us. More of Jodi Arias' shocking answers when we come back. And don't forget to tell us what you think about the trial. Will Jody be found guilty? Tweet me or send me a message on Facebook.